On the night of February 9th, 2004, a college student crashed her car on a quiet road in New Hampshire. When police arrived just minutes later, she was gone. No body was found. No confirmed sighting followed, and no clear explanation ever emerged for what happened in the minutes after the crash. Her name was Maura Murray. She was a 21-year-old nursing student at the University of Massachusetts. In the days leading up to her disappearance, she made a series of unexpected decisions that would later become part of the investigation timeline. On the afternoon of February 9th, she left campus unexpectedly. She withdrew money from an ATM. She packed personal belongings into her car, and then she began driving north. She did not tell many people where she was going. For several hours, her movements were not clearly documented. This gap would later become one of the central problems in the investigation. Because in missing person cases, what cannot be accounted for is often just as important as what is known. At around 7:30 in the evening, her car crashed on Route 112 in Haverhill, New Hampshire. A passing school bus driver later reported seeing a young woman near the vehicle. When police arrived shortly after, the car was still there, but the driver was gone. Inside the vehicle, investigators found personal belongings, but no clear indication of where she had gone. Outside the vehicle, there were footprints in the snow, but they did not form a complete trail. They faded quickly as weather conditions changed. At this point, investigators faced an immediate problem. They had a crash. They had a vehicle, but they did not have a confirmed departure path. A witness later reported seeing a young woman near the scene. This suggested she may have left the vehicle after the crash, but it did not confirm where she went afterward, and it did not explain why she was not found when police arrived only minutes later. This is where the case begins to split between what was seen and what could be proven. Search efforts expanded across the surrounding forest and rural roadways, but conditions made the search difficult. Snowfall covered tracks quickly. Visibility decreased as time passed. And in investigations like this, time is not neutral. It actively reduces the amount of evidence available. Despite extensive searching, no confirmed trace of Maura Murray was ever found in the immediate area. No body, no confirmed escape route, and no verified sighting after the crash site. In the days and weeks following the crash, multiple witnesses came forward. Some reported seeing a woman walking along the road that night, but these accounts were not consistent. Details varied, descriptions did not fully align, and none of the sightings could be independently verified. Investigators attempted to reconstruct Maura's movements using all available information: vehicle position, witness statements, and timeline analysis. But every attempt returned to the same point: the crash site. Because beyond that location, the evidence becomes fragmented, and fragmentation is where certainty begins to disappear. As the investigation continued, it became clear that the case could not be solved through a single piece of evidence. It had to be understood through what could and could not be confirmed. Despite extensive search operations across the surrounding area, no physical trace of Maura Murray has ever been recovered. No body, no confirmed route of travel, and no verified post-crash sighting that could be conclusively proven. Over time, the case shifted from an immediate missing person investigation into a long-term unsolved disappearance. What remains is a timeline that begins clearly: a student, a drive, a crash, a vehicle left behind on a quiet road, and then a break in continuity. Everything after that moment remains unknown. Some cases are defined by evidence that leads to answers. Others remain defined by the point where evidence stops. In this case, that point is the crash site, Everything beyond it remains uncertain, and that is where the case still stands today.